Time-traveling mad scientist. Check. Super smart talking robot. Check. Kids who know way too much about complicated subjects. Check. Okay, maybe that last one's not so necessary. Now let's do this thing. Welcome to Time-Traveling Scientists. Part 1. The book. It's a rainy afternoon and 10-year-old Lily is hanging out at her house. Her best friend Max, who's 9, is over and they're looking for something fun to do indoors. Lily's mom suggests heading to the attic to look for something to entertain themselves with. So off they go. There's all kinds of stuff up here. Look at this old chemistry set. And check out this telescope. It's perfect for looking at the stars, although I don't think it works anymore, Max says, pushing aside a box full of wires and random junk. Hey, what's this? He asks, pulling out a book covered in dust. The book is titled The Secrets of Time Travel. I bet this will tell us how to build a time machine, Max says. As they're reading through the old yellowed pages, they come across a mysterious invitation. It reads, "You are cordially invited to come to my lab and see the impossible become possible." It's signed by Professor Quirky, a friendly scientist known for his wacky inventions. Max and Lily exchange excited glances. This could be our ticket to building a time machine. Let's go find him. Part 2. The Time Machine. The duo heads over to Professor Quirky's house. Is that the time machine? Wow, Max whispers. They can hear the sound of whirring gears and see a faint glow coming from inside. Professor Quirky opens the door and ushers them inside. "Come see my latest invention," he says with a flourish. "Behold, my time machine. It looks like a big metal wheel with glowing blue and green lights." "How does it work?" Lily asks. Professor Quirky grins. "Time is relative. It moves at different speeds depending on how fast you're moving. The faster you go, the slower time moves for you compared to someone standing still. This is why astronauts on the International Space Station age slightly slower than people on Earth. Their speed makes time slower for them. So if you spin really fast," Max says, "you can go back in time." Professor Quirky nods. "Exactly. This wheel spins incredibly fast. One rotation sends you back a year, 2 rotations, 2 years, and so on." He shows them a miniature model of the Earth rotating on its axis. "See, everything that isn't attached to the Earth moves with it. As the Earth rotates, things move faster at the equator than at the poles. Because of that, time moves a tiny bit faster at the poles than at the equator. That's why atomic clocks, which are used to keep super precise time, actually run slightly faster at the North Pole." Part 3. The First Jump. "All right, let's try it," Max says, stepping into the time machine. Lily follows. With a loud whoosh, the time machine starts spinning. In a few seconds, they're sent back a whole year. When the dizziness fades, they realize they're in a lush prehistoric jungle surrounded by towering ferns and cycads. "We're in the age of the dinosaurs," Lily exclaims. A tall plant-eating dinosaur with a long neck walks by. "I wonder what it's like to be a dinosaur," Max says. As it passes, he uses a scientific app to measure its height. It's almost 20 meters tall. That's taller than a giraffe. Lily pulls out her notebook and starts making sketches. "This is so exciting. I wish we could stay longer, but I want to record everything we see." Part 4. The Dinosaur Discovery. As they walk along, they spot a group of smaller dinosaurs by a river. Some are drinking water while others are playing. "Hey, look, there are some smaller ones over there," Max says. "Those are probably the same type of dinosaurs we saw earlier, just younger." "Do you think any dinosaurs are still alive?" Lily asks. Professor Quirky shakes his head. "No. An asteroid hit Earth around 66 million years ago and wiped out most life on the planet, including all of the dinosaurs except birds, of course. Birds evolved from small feathered dinosaurs called theropods, so they survived the mass extinction event." "How do we know so much about dinosaurs?" Lily asks. "We learn about them by studying fossils. Fossils are the preserved remains or traces of ancient life. When dinosaurs died, their bodies decomposed, leaving behind only their bones and sometimes even their footprints. Over millions of years, these fossils turned into rock and were pushed up onto the Earth's surface by geological forces. By carefully digging up and examining these fossils, paleontologists, which is the scientist who studies fossils, can learn about what dinosaurs looked like, how they behaved, and even figure out what caused their extinction. Some dinosaurs were meat eaters and some were plant eaters, Professor Quirky says, pointing to a dinosaur with sharp teeth and claws. And based on the shape of their teeth, we know that some of them ate only plants, while others were carnivorous. Can we find any cool fossils here? Max asks, opening his dinosaur guidebook. I want to find a triceratops or maybe a stegosaurus. Part 5. The meteor shower. Suddenly, the sky lights up with bright streaks of light. Wow, it's a meteor shower, Lily says. Professor Quirky explains, a meteor is a piece of space debris that burns up in the atmosphere. Most are small, but some can be quite large. When a meteor hits a planet, it forms a crater. On Earth, we have impact craters all over the place, but because the Earth is constantly changing, they don't stick around for very long. Studying meteorites can help scientists learn more about the formation of the solar system. Max rushes over to a small meteorite that landed nearby. Let's see if it's made of iron, he says, picking it up. Bolt the robot takes a sample and examines it. My preliminary analysis shows it's rich in iron and nickel. It seems to be a piece of an asteroid that broke apart. It's amazing to think that this came from space, Lily says. Space is so vast and mysterious. Part 6. The leap to the future. Let's go to the future, Professor Quirky says with a grin. The time machine can also send us forward in time. One spin takes us 100 years into the future. Are you ready? Max and Lily exchange excited glances. Sure, Max says. With another loud whoosh, they're transported 100 years into the future. They're in a strange city filled with tall glass buildings and flying cars. Everywhere they look, they see robots doing all kinds of jobs. Wow, the future is amazing, Max says. They meet a friendly robot who introduces himself as Bold. I'm here to help Professor Quirky with his experiments. What can I do for you? How does all this technology work? Lily asks. Bolt explains that most of the flying cars and gadgets are powered by renewable energy sources like wind and solar. In the future, we rely heavily on sustainable resources to power our world, he says. Wind turbines convert the kinetic energy of wind into electrical energy. Solar panels capture the energy of sunlight and convert it into electricity. These are just a few examples of how we've harnessed nature's power in a clean and efficient way. Part 7. Saving the Earth. As they walk through the city, they notice a huge wall of screens displaying images of Earth and various data. What's that? Max asks. Professor Quirky explains that the screens are part of a global network of sensors and instruments used to monitor the Earth's climate and environment. Scientists use this data to study climate change and develop new technologies to protect the planet, he says. Are we doing a good job protecting the Earth? Lily asks. Well, it's a work in progress, Professor Quirky says. But there are many people who are working hard to make a difference. For example, scientists are developing new ways to recycle plastic and reduce waste. They're also finding new sources of renewable energy and inventing new ways to conserve water. And young people like you are leading the charge. You're the ones who will inherit the Earth, and you deserve a healthy and sustainable planet. They visit a green energy center where robots work together to clean up the ocean. These robots use solar power to remove plastic and other debris from the water, Bolt explains. It's a great example of how technology can be used to protect the environment. Part 8. Return to the present. After spending some time in the future, Max, Lily and Professor Quirky decide it's time to go home. They step into the time machine and whirl back to the present day. When they get back to Professor Quirky's lab, they all share stories about their amazing adventures. I can't believe we actually traveled through time, Max says. Me neither, Lily agrees. It's incredible to think about all the possibilities out there. Professor Quirky smiles. The future is in your hands. Who knows what amazing discoveries you'll make? Part 9. The Lesson. As Max and Lily say goodbye to Professor Quirky and Bolt, Max turns to the robot and asks, "What if we don't take care of the planet? Will it destroy itself?" Bolt pauses, thinking about the question. "The future is not set in stone," he says. "Every small action we take today can make a big difference tomorrow. If we all work together and take care of the Earth, we can make sure it's a better place for future generations." It's up to you to decide what kind of future you want to live in. So keep learning, stay curious, and never stop believing in the power of science and technology to make the world a better place. And thanks for watching. See you next time.